This webinar is just going to be walking through some of our new features and adding in your own metrics with the custom data module that we've added into Grid and forecasting. So we have some CRM's integration forecasting metrics available and can show you that forecast layer with your ARR data now. And then we'll walk you through some of our new plans features and how to add your own plans, how to have those imposed on your metrics. But you can see those side by side too. So we'll walk through all those. And then as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. If not, feel free to email any of us later and we'll get back to you too. Great. But we'll go ahead and jump in here. I'll share the screen here. Okay, so we're on our Grid homepage. So the first thing we wanted to walk through was our new custom data. So we have here in the section on the left, if you go to custom here, you'll see we have a section now for additional metrics. So additional metrics are metrics that you can bring in via spreadsheet from wherever you'd like. So think of metrics that probably aren't in some of your core financial reporting systems. So things like Salesforce, Stripe, Bugs, HubSpot, whatever system you use, you may not have some metrics that you'd like to see side by side with some of those financial style metrics. So getting those operational metrics in is hairy, and without something like Grid, you might just be exporting to spreadsheets, doing a lot of aggregations there. But here you can have spreadsheets just ingested directly in, and we can see all of those metrics in Grid with your financial data too. So in the additional metrics section here, let's click on new collection here. And let's say we want to call this support tickets. There we go. And this is just going to be the monthly support tickets that we've seen. Yes, I can zoom in here. Let me know if that is more helpful for folks. So here, monthly support tickets. We'll start calendar year monthly. We'll click create here. And over here, we'll click on upload spreadsheet. So instead of adding in, and I can do add metric here and add in my metric manually and enter it, but maybe I already have this data in a spreadsheet. So I'm going to go to upload spreadsheet, click on browse files here, and I'm going to add in some spreadsheet that I already have here. So click on that, and Grid's able to just read the spreadsheet directly, and we can take a lot of acceptable formats. We'll see what that looks like here. And basically I have 3 rows where I have SMB tickets, mid-market tickets, and enterprise tickets. And I know this is from my sheet. I'm going to create all these metrics. If I wanted to, I could click update if they already existed. They're a number, and the aggregation method is the sum, because I want to see the sum of every ticket I have in a month, not just something like last period. So last period would be a metric like ARR, where it's just the running total of what you have in the last period, and you want that value to be carried forward. So I'll click import metrics here, and I'll see from my spreadsheet, and we can share that spreadsheet format around as well, that I just have all of that data in now. So I have the enterprise tickets across, and I have them all the way through March 2026. So I have a year and this first quarter of this year's data so far. So I'll click Save 3 versions here. Save versions. And if I go back, I'll see here are my support tickets. Here's how I'm saving that. And I can see I've just made that today. Now, if I go back to make a report, because I want to see these in a chart, I'll go to reports. I'll click on create here. I'll create a chart, and down in this custom section, I'll see under the additional metrics section, I have these support tickets metrics available now. So I'll add in my enterprise tickets. I'll click create chart, and I'll see I have that data flowing through here now. This is coming from the spreadsheet. It's not coming from any of the other integrations that we have connected, not from the Salesforce, the Stripe, our QuickBooks instances. This is coming directly from the spreadsheet, and we can add in something side by side as well. So I'll click ARR here, click submit there, and we can see this data, which is coming from Salesforce, the ARR data, and enterprise tickets, which is coming from the spreadsheet. A great way to combine those metrics together. The blue line here, the operational support metrics, maybe you're not tracking that anywhere, and then your financial metrics right here, all in one place. So super helpful for bringing those in and keeping those updated in Grid and giving you a little bit of a lens into some operational views that are pretty helpful. So yeah, any questions there here on this piece? We'll see some in the chat, but I'm sure if somebody has a question, somebody else has it too. So happy to take that. If not, feel free to reach out to us later and walk you through. I imagine a lot of folks have really specific use cases and we can talk through those. API question. So right now, no, but if you push the API or if you use any kind of data tool to push data to a spreadsheet, we could ingest that data. It's really helpful for the spreadsheet to be just arranged with the columns as months or quarters or years, whatever time period makes sense. And then each of the rows to be the metric. So just having that will be pretty helpful. And annual data as well. Yes. So if your columns are just years, that'll work too. We have an AI tool that reads the spreadsheet, so it can take different aggregations. Monthly, quarterly, yearly will all work there. And you can have all of those be ingested as well. Great. So that is the custom data section here. As I said, any other questions, feel free to reach out to us and we can help you out there. The next big feature that we've added in is the forecast mode on ARR metrics. You can just start right here and we'll just remove this. Create a new report here. One last question there. Ad hoc custom data. The data that you can add in here, you can update. So we just created that from the spreadsheet there, but if in future periods you need to add in more data, you can just do that pretty easily by updating your sheet, adding that sheet back in, and we'll have an option for you to click update instead of create there. Great. So we'll create an ARR chart here. We'll create this. And for the forecast mode, let's say we want this to actually be looking forward, maybe 12 months. Now we see this decrease, and that kind of makes sense. This is our contracts running out. We don't have any new contracts starting in November 2026, for example, that we know about right now. So we do expect the ARR to go down, but maybe this doesn't represent the exact case of where we think the business is going. We know we have deals in pipeline. We know that these deals are likely to close. So we want to make sure that number gets added to this ARR value. So in ARR metrics and MRR metrics and revenue metrics, we've added in the setting here, which is include forecasted amount, which basically for CRM integrations currently will let you take the pipeline value of deals and add that in to this ARR total. So here in the include forecasted amount, if I click on, right now it's on no, if I click on unweighted here, I'll see I now have options on what deal types I want to include when I add to this ARR number. So I'm taking in my new business expansion and renewal deals. I'm selecting all of the stages I have for my pipeline. And I'll click apply here. And we'll see that number is a little bit more full now. And here we're incorporating again all of those pipeline deals. So for people who want a more realistic expectation of what their ARR number might be, we can see here's how the current pipeline fills up your ARR number. And as you move on throughout the year, of course, you'll create more pipeline. This number will get higher over time. But one thing that's helpful here is to see how do we want to see closed won ARR versus stages so far. So I'll click on this ARR metric here, and right here in the groupings, one thing we want to see is the stage of everything. So we know that a lot of this upfront is closed won, but a lot of the deals maybe out here are going to be open. So if I add a grouping here and I say, let's group by my opportunity stage, click apply here, and we'll just click save here. You'll see the red stage or the red bars here are the closed won ARR, and that makes sense. A lot of these deals are the closed won amounts, but you can see as we get further and further away, there's fewer closed ones as those contracts expire. And here in January, February, March, we see only those pipeline deals. But we can see the difference in what the closed won ARR is and what the pipeline amount is. For folks who want to see a bit of a forward-looking picture, forecast mode will help a lot with setting up the amounts of ARR you can expect from your current pipeline. And you can toggle this to be weighted as well based on what stage it's in. So early stage, maybe not that likely, later stage, more likely. But all of that is available here in forecast amount setting right now. So the last thing to discuss is plans, and we've added in a couple of new functionality points to plans. So click over here on the left side. So plans now, you can see all of your plans here, see a lot of data about who's made them, what the latest status is, what metrics those plans are for. But if we want to create a plan here, I'll click on create. We'll call this our ARR plan. And then here, I'll just click create plan. We have a couple of ways to do this now. So similar to the way we uploaded data in, I have an upload spreadsheet here, and I have add metric here. So I won't go through this flow again, but we can just click on upload spreadsheet, add metric. All of that will get us to that kind of same view where we can write data into the plan. Really similar to the way we did it for those additional metrics earlier. What might be more helpful is if we go back to that chart we just made here. So this is the ARR chart we just made. And let's say we wanted to see what a plan would look like on this metric. So here on the ARR by stage, if we go to the plans here, we'll click on add plan. And I'll zoom in over here. And all the way at the bottom, I've gone ahead and added a main ARR plan, so you don't have to watch me fill in some data there. We can't change this to a bar outline. Have the color pop a little bit more. Maybe we'll just make it pink for now. And we'll show the data labels for that. Click on apply here. And you'll see this is our ARR plan overlaid on top of that data we have. Now we're looking at both closed won and pipeline ARR all in the same metric, that versus the plan that we see. So this chart, super helpful for us to see, here's our closed won ARR, here's the pipeline that we have. How much of that pipeline maybe we expect to close is a discussion for our sales team, but you can see the gap between pipeline and our target ARR that we have each month. Super helpful view for anybody who's trying to get all of the pipeline plus current ARR versus the plan all in one chart and see that side by side. Even in this chart, we could throw in our enterprise support tickets too. So super easy to just have everything side by side. One other piece I think that'll be super helpful for folks is that plans now, I think since you can have many of them, let people forecast metrics a little bit differently. So now this, for example, is March 2026 ARR. So we know where we're starting here. We can add in a few plans to forecast and show what we expect the ARR to be in future periods, even though we don't know necessarily what that number is. Our projections here can help us just quickly show here's where we expect with this growth rate and what we expect our numbers to be. This view is pretty helpful also for any kind of scenario planning, what if analysis, a lot of those traditional FP&A tasks. I know folks are probably just wrapping up the quarter now. So if you're considering changing your plan at all, now is probably the time. So this kind of view is pretty helpful as well, and just seeing where different growth rates and different assumptions will take your ARR number or any metric really. And this was made again the same way that we made the bar outline, just that same spreadsheet ingestion or the filling in that data manually. I think that's all we have for today. And then on anything custom data, anything forecasting, anything plans, if you all do have any questions, you can let us know. Our whole team is available to help out here. We're happy to work with you all on any issues. Thank you all for coming. We'll send a recording of the webinar out. And then if you have any kind of specific questions to your business or your metrics, we're happy to walk through that with you. We'll send a link to speak with us as well in that email. But we'll forward the recording along and then share any kind of docs as well that might be helpful in working through these. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. Take care.